Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining the Redington and Oracle session. We have Ahmad Radi, our pre-sales consultant from Redington Value, who will be running throughout the session. We hope we will provide you all the information required, and you can go to the Q&A button on the left. At the end of the session, we will answer all your questions. Ahmad, over to you.
Thank you, Raghda. Hi, everyone. This is Ahmad Radi. I'm a pre-sales consultant in Redington, Saudi Arabia. And today, as we know, our session will be about one of the Oracle Engineer System, Oracle Private Cloud Appliance, PCA. I hope, first of all, that all of us is staying safe regarding to the current situation in Corona, COVID-19. Actually, this is one of the sessions that provided from Redington regarding to the Oracle portfolio. So today we will talk about one of the engineering system, x86 from Oracle. As we know, Oracle, so far they provide many engineer system from two types of engineer system, Spark and x86. Spark, unfortunately, it's end of life so far. So in x86, we have many types of engineer system in x86. We have big data appliance, we have Exadata, we have ZDLR, we have PCA. So today, our focus will be on the PCA, private cloud appliance. So private cloud appliance, actually, it's the what we can say, the state of art of how you can compare all your infrastructure in one box. If we see, if one of the customer actually trying to build their own infrastructure, he have three choices. Choice number one, that he will build it from scratch, bringing in the networking infrastructure, storage, server, and so on and so on. But second, that he can go to the hyperconversion. Hyperconversions also, unfortunately, it's in a combination from many vendors, such as Nutanix, for example. You will have the hypervisor from Nutanix. You will have the server and the storage from HP, and option three, that PCA, engineered system. Engineered system, it's built from scratch, from A to Z, from Oracle, starting from the network, from storage, servers, switches, hypervisor, and even the application that will be on top of it. So if we're talking about our PCA today, what is the feature of the PCA? How you can do it? How you can build it? If you build your infrastructure, you will try to bring the a kind of storage above it. You will bring the network, let's say Cisco, Aruba, VMware for the hypervisor, and by the end you'll need the OS. But with the PCA, private cloud appliance, you have it from Oracle from scratch, from A to Z. Let's say that from the Oracle storage, from networking again, from the server, from the VM, until you reach the full stack in one box. So what is the difference between any engineered system and other type of infrastructure? Engineered system, you have a single point of management. In our case in here, in the PCA, you have the full stack is managed by the Oracle Cloud Control, which will give you the full featured to manage the whole hardware from the chassis till you reach the database and application level. So the idea of the engineer system is how to deploy your environment in minutes instead of days. From the hardware perspective, or from the infrastructure perspective, to build it, okay, you need many days to design the network, to make a configuration for the storage, to configure the OS itself, cabling, networking. But in here, in our engineer system features, it's just one box. You just connected to the backbone, enter the configuration that you wanted to run it, and just a click, and the whole environment will be running in a minute. So the PCA is depending on the rapid provisioning of deployment and
Radi,
how to run in minutes. Yes,
Radi, sorry to interrupt you, but can you share your screen, please?
it's already shared.
No.
Radhi, unfortunately, we are not able to see your screen. Maybe you can cancel the sharing and then reshare again. Yes, now we can see it.
Okay. So sorry for that.
Yes, Ahmed, proceed.
Thank you. Okay. So, do you want to getting back from the beginning, or we can continue from here?
I would suggest if you could just quickly brush through the first few slides, it would be great.
Okay. Yeah. So, I'm trying to go through the slides again quickly. So, as we mentioned before, this is the differentiation between the many types of the hardware environment. How the difference between how that you build by your own, or going to the option of hyper convergent, or go to the third option, which is the engineering system. And in this slide also, we describe when you build your own environment, how it will be starting from scratch, from the storage and the hypervisor, the networking, and all this need and efforts from you to deal with many vendors, how you can make integration between all of these vendors, and trying to make one environment integrated and complete. And in here, okay, we will go the advantage of the engineer system, the PCA, how it is coming from one vendor. It's a single point of contact. It's a single point of management. And even if you want to open a ticket with vendor, it will be just one vendor, which is Oracle. So, and this is a view about the PCA, how it's just in one chassis. You have the whole stack in one chassis. From we are talking about from the hardware perspective and from the software perspective also. Also, we talk about the rapid of provisioning your infrastructure, that the deployments will not take from you more than 15 minutes to connect your PCA or your engineer system to the backbone and fill it with your information of the environment, and it will be running automatically and ready for use. For sure, PCA, one of the power of the PCA that it can running multi-workload. It is not just for Oracle system or the Solaris OS. It's for sure, as we mentioned before, it's an x86 environment, so it's can running any type of OS or workload, such as Linux, with many flavors of Linux, Red Hat, SUSE, Bento, even Windows, Microsoft, and even Solaris. But in here we are talking about Solaris x86. It is not for sure Solaris Spark. So if we continue in here, the advantage of the PCA from the Oracle perspective. PCA from the Oracle perspective, it's when you build your own system, you actually you don't want to think about the licensing perspective. Most of the customer that they have an Oracle license, Oracle software, they're thinking about the license and the cost, how they can manage it, how they can compliance to with Oracle policy, and that's for sure that if we given a snapshot about it quickly, Oracle in the licensing matrix, they depend on the hard partitioning and soft partitioning. Hard partitioning, that means that you are using the Oracle hypervisor. So when you are using the Oracle hypervisor, you'll just pay for the license in the virtual VM. Okay, but if you are using any third-party hypervisor, so that means that you should pay for the full license for the physical core for the whole environment. So in this case, okay, you are not have any control about the license. The cost will be massive on you. So from the Oracle perspective, a PCA can hold many applications and many OS as well. You have most of the portfolio, PeopleSoft, GD Edwards, Business Intelligence, Primavera, and so on and so on. If we are thinking about from the third-party application, for sure you can run any software, third-party, not non-Oracle software, because actually you have a multi-OS can hold it, and it will be fully integrated and fully supported. So what we have from the management perspective for the PCA, what management tool that Oracle provided to you to can manage your private cloud appliance? First of all, you have the management tool that can give you the control on the chassis from the network perspective, BDUs, switches, and so on. Second tool that you can have it's the Oracle OVM, because actually you know that this is the hypervisor that we are using in the PCA. So from the OVM, you have the full control to prepare your zones, to, virtualization environment, as you wish. You can build the containers. And the third tool that's coming from Oracle, which is state of art, the Oracle Enterprise Cloud Control, or actually the development for the Ops Center, if we hear about it from a long time back. Oracle Cloud Control, if we give us 10 or 15 minutes quickly, because actually it's need maybe an aspirated session to talk about it. But Cloud Control, it's coming from Oracle to manage the whole environment. If you have an Oracle environment, hardware, software, base, application, OS even, you can have it from single point of class, single point of management tool. The cloud control, what is the feature of the cloud control? How I can use it? Quickly, if you go through it, Enterprise Manager Cloud Control 13C, Oracle developed it to manage, as we mentioned before, the hardware, the software, and even the cloud. How you can also add the cloud environment to be managed from the on-prem. Cloud Control 13C, it's a free software. The license only if you need to pay for the tuning and performance module. I think that we have also 2 or 3 modules. If you need an additional license, you should pay for it. But monitoring and there is a huge part of management. It's free. You can just download it, run it. It's used also in a database as a repository. This database you can use it as a free. It's coming as a demo. If you want to extend it, for sure you will need a license for that. The cloud control PCA, the cloud control enterprise manager for the PCA, it is not just can manage one PCA. No, we can add many PCAs to the same enterprise manager. For example, NASA Deep Space, I think that they have more than 150 PCA in one enterprise manager control. It is like a cloud farm and managed from one single point. So cloud control quickly also the most advantage for the enterprise manager cloud control, that how you can integrate between your cloud environment and on-prem environment. For sure, the revolution of the technology that's coming big time is the cloud, and how you can connect or make the management between the cloud and the on-the-prem more easily. From the cloud control 13C, you can manage your IaaS or PaaS instance and the PCA and make integration between them. You can make shift and lift from cloud to on-prem and vice versa. Even you can go to the most feature that you are convinced it will be a revolution with the cloud control, that you can build your own cloud environment. And here we are talking how to can change the IT division and the end user from cost center to be a profit center. One of the ideas that we give it to our end customer, especially for the multinational company, that they have a headquarter and centralized IT, that how they can build the private cloud and how they can rent it to the small company in them and transfer the IT division from cost center to profit center. You can make a self-services and rent it to your division, make a cost and take this cost internally. So in this case, you transfer or shift the IT from as a cost center inside the environment to be a profit center and build your private cloud. So in here, when we discuss how the simplicity of the PCA, that it is not just one PCA and there is no extended. No, you can extend as much as you can from the PCA. For sure, we are talking about deeply about the technicality of the PCA, that it's starting from 2 nodes, and it can be extended to 25 nodes in each rack. So the content of the PCA have an storage. This storage actually it can be extended to 2200 terabyte. We have our network switches. We have 2 management node, which is 2 management node. It's holding the hypervisor, the Ovm Manager, and the minimum is 2 nodes. So we have the latest version of nodes. It's X8-2. This is coming with 48 core and 1.2 terabyte memory. And it's also have 2 disks, 1.2 tera, I believe. So even this, for each node, you can split it to multi VMs. And as we mentioned before, if you have your private, you build your private cloud internally, you can just split it as much as you can and rent it as a self-services. If we going back to the enterprise manager a little bit, what is the easiest of the enterprise manager and the deployment for the for your environment? As we know now, Oracle have their Oracle delivery website, Oracle Delivery website, it can give you any template you needed. Any template you needed from the software perspective. Let's say that so far there is no need to prepare your environment to download database or rack or or e-business suite. You can just download it, you can customize it as you wish, and you can just deploy it in minutes. So in here, once you build your private cloud on the PCA, you can build the template. You can download as much as you can from this template from the Oracle Delivery, build your environment, and it will be ready for deployment for your customer, your internal customer. So there is no need to prepare, as we know from the, let's say, from the database perspective. Most of the DBAs, they were suffering with the prerequisites, with the installation of the OS, how they can prepare it, changing in the code, changing in the hardware. It will take time, and so on and so on. So it will be easily for them to just, he will go to the to the portal that you give it to him, to the access, you give him the access to his VM. He can just go to the marketplace that you just download it. He can choose whatever the templates that he wants. He can deploy it in minutes. So Oracle Cloud Appliance x86, which is the X8-2, which is the latest version. We started 5 years ago with the PCA from X5-2, and the control domain was X3. Now we reached the X8. It is the latest one. So as we mentioned before, the PCA, it's content from 2 management node, and there is 2 fabric or 2 software for the PCA, which is in the old version. It was coming from Zigo. Zigo is the company that they invite the main or the brain of the PCA. PCA is bending, or the main idea of the PCA is the software. The software that is intelligent software that can discover the network, can configure the whole environment in minutes, without any efforts from you to have the headache of the routing, how you can do it, how you can connect it. So this is the main idea. This is the intelligence. This is the brain of the PCA. As we mentioned before, we are using the Oracle Hypervisor, OVM, latest one with the 3.46. So this is a hypervisor that we use it in the PCA. So in here we have the PCA controller. Above of that we have the OVM Manager, and in the last level the Enterprise Manager. So once you have the Enterprise Manager, you have the full control. You take over the ownership from the previous software. There is no need for the software. It's fully integrated with the Enterprise Manager. You can enter the OVM Manager. You can even enter the PCA controller from the cloud control. Let's say the PCA as an advantage with our customer. Many enterprise customer use it, and we have they have a good experience. We have a good feedback from them. As I mentioned before, NASA, even the Ministry of Defense and USA, and many SAP, the Defense Company Accelerator Business. And even I have a small video. Maybe we can conclude most of that we describe it right now. Just a minute.
Appliance, an integrated Wire1's software-defined converged infrastructure system. The private cloud appliance is a fully pre-configured system designed for fast cloud deployments and consolidation of Microsoft Windows, Linux, and Oracle Solaris applications. It is built from innovative Oracle products that are proven and tested for enterprise deployments. The major hardware building blocks include compute and management nodes using x86 systems, Oracle ZFS storage appliance for internal storage, and Oracle Fabric Interconnect in the Oracle Virtual Networking family of solutions for software-defined network fabric, which allows reconfiguration of servers and storage through software. No more physical recabling to reconfigure the environment. Once the private cloud appliance is delivered to a customer site, you just need to wheel the racks into place, connect the power, network, and integrate seamlessly into your existing environment. The preloaded private cloud appliance controller software automatically discovers, installs, and configures the server, network, and storage components in the rack. You can immediately create virtual machines, either manually or by leveraging Oracle VM templates. You save hundreds of hours of installation and configuration time and eliminate the risk of physical and software configuration errors. You can use private cloud appliance to consolidate Windows, Linux, and Oracle Solaris applications onto one platform, or provide the hosting and management of Oracle database and third-party business applications. With private cloud appliance, you can deploy new services in hours, not days or weeks. Cut deployment costs by up to 90%. Simplify your journey from on-premise to public cloud. Deploy cloud models, including infrastructure as a service and database as a service. Get unlimited use of Oracle software within private cloud appliance. The controller software, Oracle SDN, Oracle VM, Oracle Solaris, Oracle Linux, and Oracle Enterprise Manager. With the private cloud appliance, you pay one price for the hardware in the rack and necessary software. Cut acquisition cost by up to 50%. Get a single point of accountability for support of the entire converged infrastructure, including hardware and software. Contact Oracle for all your support needs. For other converged infrastructure solutions in the market, you need to contact multiple vendors for support and ongoing maintenance, costing you precious time. By adding Oracle Enterprise Manager to your private cloud appliance deployment, you can quickly build and manage a private cloud within your data center and offer services such as infrastructure as a service and database as a service. Oracle Enterprise Manager comes with an easy-to-use, out-of-the-box console for self-service provisioning. It has sophisticated and flexible metering and chargeback mechanisms to enable IT to meter the usage and optionally charge back the tenants in the cloud. You also get a cloud-in-a-box at industry-leading price point with a private cloud appliance. Private cloud appliance is composed of the same technology stack as Oracle Cloud, so customers can deploy private and hybrid cloud environments. Oracle VM templates contain pre-built, pre-configured, and ready-to-deploy software from Oracle, simplifying and enabling the rapid deployment of agile, highly reliable private cloud services. Applications, as well as needed OS patches, are included in these software images. By using Oracle VM templates, customers eliminate installation and configuration costs and reduce deployment time from days and weeks to hours and minutes. Oracle VM templates for many key Oracle products are available for download, including Oracle Database, Oracle Real Application Clusters, Oracle E-Business Suite, Oracle's J.D. Edwards line of applications, Oracle Fusion Middleware, and many more. In summary, Oracle Private Cloud Appliance allows you to deploy infrastructure hardware in hours, not days or weeks. Create a cloud in a box at an industry-leading price point. Consolidate any Linux, Oracle Solaris, or Windows applications. Protect your investment by using existing storage, whether Oracle or third-party storage. Reduce your CapEx and OpEx. And, more importantly, get a single point of contact for support from Oracle. For more information on private cloud appliance, visit oracle.com/PCA.
So coming back, I hope that this video is describe or conclude most of that we just mentioned before. So what is the best practice for the PCA? Best practice for the PCA, it is for the mid-range business. Why it's a mid-range business? Because actually it's the first or the beginning of the cost of the PCA, it will be a little bit, let's say, costive, but in the long term, or if you wanted to extend your environment, it will be more cheaper than any comparing environment or any comparing vendor with Oracle PCA, because actually you are starting with 2 nodes minimum, and these 2 physical nodes, as we mentioned before, for each node you have 48 cores, as we mentioned before. We can go a little bit for the slides that we have. Slide. Okay. Yes, here. So the minimum nodes, as we mentioned before, it's enough 2 nodes. Each node have enough 48 CPU core, and we will start with the 300 GB minimum. 2200 terabyte usable space. The shelf or the cabinets can hold 25 nodes. It can be extended to 25 nodes. So it's a massive environment. Even if you cannot just stop in that, you can add PCAs as much as you can. It will be managed from the Enterprise Manager cloud control. From the technical perspective, it's I know that most of the DBAs they are asking about the performance. You have 2 choices. Choice number 1, that you can just put your database on the local disk of the VMs, or you can connect it. We have the facility to connect an external storage with the PCA through many types of connectivity. It can reach to 40 GB per second, and you can in the design you can build, or you can put your database on the storage and the VM and the binaries on the VMs internally. A connectivity inside the PCA, it's reached 100 GB per second, so you will not face any bottleneck from the performance perspective. And as we mentioned before about the cloud, and actually this is the name of the Oracle Private Cloud Appliance. So you can connect between the IaaS or PaaS services in the Oracle Cloud, on the Oracle Public Cloud, and your PCA or your private cloud. But it's in the facility or the management simplicity from the Oracle Enterprise Manager is coming from how you can just shift and lift, how you can, if you have a database multi-tenants, to see how you can just get it from the cloud to your on-prem, or shift and lift, vice versa. How you can use the private cloud as an DR or test and dev environment for your on-prem, and so on and so on, from the ideas that coming from the private and public cloud and the connectivity between them. In here, if we have the facility, we have actually PCA in our Redington data center in Dubai. So we can connect to this PCA and have an idea about it live. So this is the first software. This is a dashboard for the PCA. As we see, we have the ZFS storage that it holds the VMs and the repository of the OVS. We have the controller. You can just click on that. This is the controller of the storage. This is the shelf storage. And the management tool, you can click it and get the full information about it. As we see, so if we take a look, this is the old PCA actually. It is built on Zigo controller, Zigo software. So far now it's development by Oracle, and in the x86, the latest one, it will not coming from Zigo, it's coming from the Oracle. It's coming with the Oracle software, which is more intelligence, and we avoid many issues happen in the past, as we see. So this is the whole shelf. It's coming for the Zigo controller, the Fabric Connects, and the 2 domains. Above of that, we have our OVM Manager. So OVM Manager, it is an Oracle hypervisor. OVM Manager, you can use it in any x86 environment. Most of the customers, they use it to create their own virtualization environment. For sure, it will save for you the cost of the license. As we mentioned before, that the license codes is coming on the hard partitioning and not soft partitioning, and this is only support from the Oracle hypervisor. I don't know if all of us is familiar with the OVM Manager, but it's one of the easiest hypervisor that can. It's coming in the market right now. As we see, this is our OVM environment. This is a repository that it will be hosted on the ZFS storage. This is the networking. So this is the idea about the OVM. Going forward, we will go to the highest level, which was the most important one, the Oracle Enterprise Manager Cloud Control. So from the Oracle Enterprise Manager Control, as we mentioned before, in here, you have the full use. Now this is the PCA rack. You can just click it. Just a minute. So now we bring the management tool of the PCA to our Enterprise Manager in here. So there is no need for the first control management, or even for the OVM. We're coming forward for the OVM also. So we have in here the full control. So this is the rear, there is front of the PCA. You can even choose the view, if schematic, see, photorealistic. So, and you can go deeply, check the temperature, check the BDUs. And so on, so on. So this is a BDU, but it is not connected, unfortunately. So, secondly, as we mentioned before, that even the OVM Manager, you can just bring it to the Enterprise Manager, fully integrated. There is no need to use the OVM Manager, but there is a small note here. Using Enterprise Manager, it does not mean that you don't need to install the OVM Manager. OVM Manager, it's mandatory, because the Enterprise Manager control, he work about the idea of the Enterprise Manager control and the integration idea that he will integrate with the Oracle OVM Manager. So first you need to, after you build your environment, you need the OVM Manager live and running, and the Enterprise Manager will integrate it with the OVM Manager. And in this case, you will use the Enterprise Manager instead of the OVM Manager. So as we see, this is the OVM Manager. This is the internal environment that we have, our zones. Say that we have, as we mentioned, we have 2 nodes, and this is the minimum nodes. You can enter each node and check the availability. We have many types of an instance. We have Oracle Linux, we have SQL, we have even Microsoft Windows. It's down right now, so you can enter any machine. Let's say here, maybe you can catch one of them. So this is in a database demo. Okay, this one is running. So as we see from the Enterprise Manager in here, you can access any machine on the VM. You can even access the physical node. You have fetching every data, each data, single data in there, CPU utilization, network connectivity, even the configuration of the networks, and so on. So, and here also you can access the storage, and we are talking about the storage that hold the OVM repository. For sure, if you have any external storage, let's say for backup, for database, to hold the database, your DBF file, it will be also managed from here. You can just add it to the Enterprise Manager also as well. So, so far, this is a quick review about the quick session about the PCA, benefits of the PCA, how it will be useful for our customer, how we can advise the PCA for our end customer, how we can make a revolution or a big achievement with our customers. It's a good choice, good advice for them, especially for the customer that they are working in x86 and they have an Oracle software. So PCA is a good advice for the Oracle customer that they have an Oracle software, because actually we put the number one, the concern of the licenses, which it will be reduce a massive cost from the license perspective. Also, when we mentioned about the management, managing infrastructure from the network perspective, from the storage and servers and OS, and the database, all that it's need, and many efforts, many tools from our Enterprise Manager and the PCA. It will be easy for use. Even the DBA can he manage the whole environment by himself. From the Enterprise Manager also, there is a software. It can be working as advisor for you for performance and tuning from the network perspective. So it will just click, you just follow the tips to optimize your environment. So I hope that by the end we conclude everything regarding to the PCA so far, and I hope that session it will be it was useful. I hope. Please, if any questions, don't hesitate to call us. So, Ragda?
Yes, thank you, Ahmed. Thank you everyone for your time. We hope you have delivered everything you are looking for and answered all your questions. We will also be sending the recording session to your email ID along with the contact details of Ahmed Razi. So you can write back to us if you have any more questions. Thank you, Ahmed. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day ahead.